In my previous video, I explored Nada, Japan's premier sake brewing district. In this video, I explored Ashiya City, known to be one of Japan's most exclusive residential areas. Let's explore.
Good morning. So it's the next day. So yesterday, for the past 3 days, I was traveling with Marty, and I got a better understanding about this obesity area. So I'm now today, for the next few days, I'll be focusing on just editing videos. I'm now staying in Motomachi area, which is like the one station away from Kobe Sannomiya Station. And in this shopping street, I found this coffee shop saying that the oldest coffee shop in Japan, 日本最古のコーヒー店. Yeah, that's what it is. Kobe Motomachi, the coffee lounge, which is the oldest in Japan since 1878. So I thought it's interesting. And here they have on the wall, like a painting of old painting where there's like a coffee shop of this place. In the Meiji period, I think. And then here they say they have in the Yomiuri Shimbun, which is the one of the major newspapers in Japan, which is still running. On this paper, you see this one, I guess. Kaiten no Goku. It's probably here. Which one is it? Hozendo. どこだ? They said so on this newspaper in Meiji 11年, it's like 140 years ago. They said they have this advertisement of this coffee shop. Wow, so here they have citation from the concise Gairaigo. It's like a dictionary about the words that came from foreign countries. Published by Sansedo for the description about coffee and the cafe. There's the name of this coffee shop as the one which started selling coffee and then started the first cafe in Japan and in 1878. And then I had ordered morning, and it came with this toast with butter and then coffee. じゃあいただきます。これで美味しいですね。すごい雑味がなくて、すごいすっきりとしたですね。Oh, hey guys. So it's the end of February. It's February 28th. And I'm still in this Kobe city. Today I have to visit this place, KH Gallery. It's a house owned by Koshino Hiroko, who is a well-known Japanese fashion designer. And it's the building that was designed by Ando Tadao, who is one of the legendary Japanese architect. He designed the Hyogo Prefectural Museum. And then there I read a lot of his books about him, and then got to know that this gallery is located in the place called Ashiya area in Kobe city, which is known to be a kind of like a kokyū guy, place whose rent is very high and then among Japan. And then the reason why there are so many luxurious houses there is that. Okay, let's go there. Hey guys, so I just took a bus and I came to this place called Rokurousan area in this Ashiya area inside the Kobe city. So this is actually the area that is said to be like the Chokokyū Jutakura. It's like the most luxurious residential area in Japan. And then there's actually this is actually like the entrance of this area, and then you see this guide map of this area, and then it's surprising that you see the names of the individual houses on this map, which is pretty rare. And then so from here you see already seeing many houses. I try to take not to go into detail, but just to take in that shot from the far.
Wow, this one looks like a museum, really. Wow. すごいね。So, すげえ、なんだこれ。Wow. That's so amazing. This doesn't look like a house anymore. Looks like a castle or something. Oh my gosh. Wow. すごい。Looks like a castle. Wow. Behind me, it's also like, it's not a castle. It's like stone walls are also like a part of the housing. So this area can only build a private house only because of this. This area has its own very strict rules for making houses. For example, there's no business related buildings such as convenience store or gas station, no such thing ever. And then also there's no electric poles to maintain like the beautiful landscapes. And then so that's why the older electric cables were built underground, which was done before the World War II. So that was very early. It's also interesting that so if you build a house, you have to have like 40% of the entire area have to have like a vegetation. So which is like within the 10 square meters, you have to have at least two trees. So that is like rule, so that it can create an area to maintain like a beautiful landscape also. And then another thing I got to know is that so if you want to build a new house, you have to actually before building it, you have to invite the people of your neighborhood to present what kind of building you are going to build, so that you can get agreement from the neighbors. I thought that's really interesting. So this is like a rule of making like a machi, like a city of this Rokurousan area with the harmony of natural environment. So it's not really explaining a detail, but it's like like 30 days before the construction, you have to submit the basic idea to the council. 届け出先、芦屋市建設部都市計画。Yeah. Besides, you have to pay 50万円 just to live in this area, which is also interesting to get into like a 町内会. Yeah. So there are like many celebrities that are famous in Japan who said to have a second house or houses here. For example, Ichiro, like a player who also played in the MLB baseball, and also like a vocal, the rock band called Bees, Inaba-san, who's said to have a second house here. And then another one is that so like many CEOs from the big companies in Japan, for example, the president of UCC, Wishima Company, which is like I think it's a base in Kobe, actually started from Kobe. And yeah, that's one of them. Wow. Yeah, you got the idea. Wow, how this place has really many looking awesome buildings, housings. So you might want to ask why this place has become such a place, having like luxurious residential area. So there was mainly two reasons. So one is that it started during the time between Meiji era and the Taisho era, and then it's called Hanshinkan modernism. So Hanshin means the area covering Kobe City and Osaka, and then modernism means like as you say, as the English word. So it was like the time when Japan was trying to modernize its culture and the lifestyle, and then in those days, major railroad companies were started. So, for example, Hanshin Railroad and also Hankyu Railroad. Hanshin Railroad was established in 1905, and Hankyu Railroad was established in 1910. So that's when they started, running the railroad between Osaka and this Hyogo area, especially in Kobe City. So that's make it possible to people commute from Kobe City to Osaka. And then the Osaka was, it's historically from the Edo period. said to be like the hub of businesses in Japan. It was called Tenka no Daidokoro, which means like a kitchen of heaven or something like that. And then the reason why Osaka became like that is because mainly there are rivers, running through the city, Osaka area. There's one in called Yodogawa, which is running from Kyoto to Osaka, and then also another one is called なんだっけ? Yoshinogawa, that was running also from Nara area to Osaka. So since those rivers were running inside the city of Osaka, it was very useful to transport things, and then that's how Osaka became a hub of businesses. And then next to so the Kobe city, Hyogo prefecture, is located next to Osaka. So when it became as there was a lot of businesses going on in Osaka, there were people who are having wealth. Then after that, so people thought that Osaka is like a place for business, but on the other hand, they want to live in a place that's comfortable and relaxing. When you look for a place like that, you want to have nature, right? So then this this Ashiya city like area, which is also like a mountainside, is having like a very rich nature from the Roko mountain. As you could see in my previous video, you can enjoy like sceneries of sea and also as well as the mountain area. So that's like very good feature of this Kobe city. So you can if you're living on this mountain area, you can look down the sea and the city area of Kobe, having like mountain on your back. So it's always good place. It has been always a good place to enjoy the natural scenery. So that's one of the reasons why people started, people with wealth, started living in this area. And actually, this Ashiya area is like between, located in, like hub of the Kobe city, and also like Osaka. So that's why it was very useful to live in here, and then commute to Osaka. Then it has, they have started building really nice, looking buildings, and then that's how this, place has become one of the, wealthy residential area. So, yeah, I think it was very interesting, especially like how this place was being, trying to maintain the scenery and like a natural landscape, posing a, rule to the people who are living here. I think that's still very interesting aspect of this Kobe city. So hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Looks great.
So fluffy.
I ordered this one. It was really good. This is the bus I'll be taking at number 5, going to Highland Kita, and I'll be getting off at Okuchi, called Okuchi, the station called Okuchi, bus stop called Okuchi. And then here, as you can see, this is how it looks in front of the JR station of Ashiya. So I just took off the bus. Then I'm now heading to the KH Gallery. So it's pretty much inside the mountain area, and as you can see, it's a little bit far from the Ashiya station. It's like in 20 minutes drive, many up and down. So I don't know, probably they are maybe living or maybe using these houses as besso. Second house, yeah. Oh yeah, this one, KH Gallery, you see KHG. Apparently it's different from the houses you see, around these areas. So the lady inside told me that, you can take photos or videos any way you want and then share that on SNS, which is good. So yeah, let's go inside, and it does look like a, how to say, a maze kind of looking. And here's a KH Gallery Ashiya, and let's Here I saw there's like a window, but it's no door. Okay. Oops. Okay. So I'm told that Koshino Hiroko, she is actually one of three sisters who are very well known in fashion designing industry, and then she is a leading fashion designer, and she is actually the oldest daughter, and then two other sisters were also very famous fashion designer, Koshino Junko and also Michiko-san, yeah, I think so. And then actually their mother was actually like a model of a Japanese TV drama which became very popular about 10 years ago, I think. Yeah, it's called Carnation. And yeah, it was featuring the mother of her, and the sisters. It's actually now, since it became very popular, the lady here told me that. So the drama is now planned to be a movie this year, or maybe that in the future. Anyway, so like the mother of the sisters, actually she opened a small clothing store in Kishiwada, I think it's in Osaka, and then it became popular, and then somehow like influenced by her mother, the sisters grew up and then started working in the fashion industry. Here you can have a pamphlet actually. So this museum, so this was actually once used her own private house for 30 years, and then this was built in 1981, and then but later on it was opened as a museum in 2013 as a gallery to showcase her own paintings, as she was also produced many paintings while working as a fashion designer. And then the reason why she wanted to have a private house here in this area in Ashiya is because that she thought that this is where she can sharpen her senses, surrounded by nature of the local mountain. This museum actually has exhibited many her own paintings, also as well as the artworks that is trying to represent the fusion of art and fashion, and also she has worked with many different kinds of genres artists as well. So yeah, and then this building, as you could see, it's obviously concrete was used, that is very kind of looking like a stylish, and then that is also going pretty well with the paintings as well, I think, because with the paintings, many of them having kinds of colors that is emphasized by the monotone aspect of the concrete, I think. And so this was, as I've said, designed by Tadao Ando, and then in 1981, and then actually later on, mainly two parts of this building were added, one in 1984 and then the later 2006, and then the first one was actually like arching walls and was added in 1981, and then southern part of the building was added in 2006. It's like she was sort of like expanding and renovating this building in accordance with her lifestyle. So she said that she kind of wanted to work on this kind of environment where she could feel like the four seasons of Japan. And then actually, since it's cloudy today, you can't really see the lights coming inside this building. But if it's sunny, you can have a better look. I don't know if it's gonna be better, but it's gonna have a beautiful look. I mean, like the lights are beaming from the outside to the inside. So, but still, I like this place. Yeah, already, very nice. And here it says "Chōwa to Kyocho," harmony and emphasis. So it's like the colors she's using on the paintings is somehow inspired by the like a kabuki she saw when she was a little. I love the the cat thing on the left, and actually here you can take off your shoes and enter. So let's look it closer. Yeah, I think it's cat. interesting. So this part I'm now walking on at the southern part of the building. So this was added in 2006. And then here are the paintings of herself. And then, yeah, this is how it looks. Very nice. So about the architect Ando Tadao. So he is now, legendary, very well-known world-class architect. But actually, he has designed many private houses. And then the first one is called Sumiyoshi no Nagaya. It's in Osaka, actually. Utilizing a very, small space, but he made it into some kind of unique architect. So he has a very unique career as a, architect, as he, was once a professional boxer, and then he later on traveled all around the world. Then he started his own career as an architect, and then he never actually, studied by the, academic architectural institution, so which is very, very unique. So from the southern part, I just, taken stair, and then you see a bathroom, and then you see the path on this way. Here you see, this is you can see the, materials of how it was actually, designed and built. So the process of it. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? So this is Koshino, Hiroko, and Ando. So they actually, so it was the, 1981. They were probably already, somewhat, popular, but considering their career, it was very, very, at the beginning still. Then I read the book about Ando Tadao in Hyogo Prefectural Museum. Then there was a description of their conversation that it was when Ando started working as an architect, and then Koshino got to know him, and then she asked him if she can design her own house. Then when the time came, she asked that again, and then he was like, yeah, sure. And then he designed this place. So that's what they are. Story. Wow. So this is a room of arching walls. Yeah, I like the carved design of a wall, and it's that chair is also carved, which is going well with the concept of the room, I think. Yes, going. So this is. So it's going to be the dining room. Again, wow, cool. Oh, here is a kitchen. Sure. This is the of her fashion design. Interesting. So it looks like she's also created many works of using a sumi, and then like this, and then turn them into plates and then cups, so you can buy them right here. And also the paintings you see, you can actually also buy. So I can tell that she's a really nice businesswoman. So the underground, there are also more rooms. I think, yeah, it's probably used for their kids, I guess. So I just had a talk with the person working here, and then Koshino is now 88 years old, but she said that she is still very actively doing paintings, and then she every week goes back to Tokyo and then comes back here, and then she actually has a house near here, and then she works there, and then it's thinking about her age, 88. I don't really imagine working as old when I become that old. I still working like that. So I just finished exploring inside this KH gallery, and it was really interesting. And I've just got to know that. So from the bus stop, you can just actually walk up this stair that is directly, leading to the entrance of the gallery, and then so you don't have to take a detour by going around. And then how to say, like curators, like the people who are managing that museums are really nice. And Miss Ijichi, she has also studied art, and I saw her profile, and then she has studied in Barcelona. And then also another person I was just talking to was Mr. Uno, and then he is actually taking care of that museum, but also is also an artist. So these are the ones that. So here is his website, and yeah, he has really nice paintings. It's rare oil paintings, and yeah, really nice to know them and then talk to them. So yeah, that was very interesting place to visit. Okay. Please let me know how you thought about the video, and if you like it, please share it with your friends and family.